to help us talk about promoting Africanism through poetry. Her name is Hamida Apusiga, or Apusiga the Poet, and she's the author of the anthology The Mask Halls. It's going to be an interesting discussion. Hold on to your seat. You would love this. And she's already seated in the studios, and so we're going. Good morning, Apusiga the Poet.
Good morning.
And you hear the voice. Hamida Apusiga Ayuba. She's Apusiga the Poet. So what do I call you? Hamida Apusiga the Poet or Miss Ayuba?
I prefer Apusiga the Poet.
Yeah, she is Apusiga the Poet, okay? And she's published an anthology, right? Please, an anthology is a published collection of poems of other pieces of writing. Let's clear that one before we go ahead. First of all, how did you get into poetry?
Sometimes you have ideologies or you have something that you want to sell out, but you'll be looking out for platforms.
Okay.
And it's not easy to get the platforms at once to share the message you want to do. But I realized that, okay, what if I delve into poetry? Can't I share my message in any way, any other thing that I want to share? I can just put it into a piece of paper and I'll try to voice it out to the people. And that was then I started putting up my words together and I started trying. It didn't come at once. Whenever there is a program going somewhere, if I know anyone, I'll just call the person. Oh, I learned you people are having a program. Please, can you put me on your program lineup? They'll be like, okay, we are giving you 2 minutes of our time. And I said, okay, no problem. If it's 1 minute, I can still manage to put up something. And sometimes it comes with time. A program can be like tomorrow and then you have to, work on time. So that is when I started performing on small stages, small conferences like workshops. And then now I can say, all thanks to God, I've climbed on stages that I never thought I would be there.
How long ago did you start this?
I think I started when I was in SHS. I was doing it in schools. Basically, I was teaching my colleagues how to, write and perform when we have inter-school programs. But then when I came to Accra, that was from Kumasi to Accra. When I came to Accra, I had admission to Ghana Institute of Journalism, currently UNIMAC, University of Media, Arts and Communication. So when I was there, I started trying my best, trying to get platforms to share my message. And I think it's about 4 years now when I started performing in Accra here, or when I started being publicly, coming out to perform on events and programs as well.
How many poems are in this anthology?
I think it's 50, 60 poems, and we also have a story attached to it. The book is actually 140 pages. Yeah.
And you wrote every single one of these poems?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
It's been 4 years now. And whenever you invite me, you will give me a theme or a topic for your event. Okay. So if you give me the theme and I will write it. I will write based on the theme that you give to me.
So then you were collecting them.
Yes. So anytime I finish writing, I'll just make sure I leave it on my PC. I've created a booklet in my PC, a file, where I will be packaging my poems there. I'll be putting them together. But this publication is a special one. It's not all the poems that I've been performing out there that you can see it.
Okay.
If you open this book, you can only see maybe 2 or 3 of the poems that I have been collecting, because I wanted this book to carry a specific message.
Okay.
And that specific message is about Africanism, it's about freedom fighters, and so many things. But the poems I've been doing, somebody can call me to come and perform a poem about drugs abuse, about marriage, about entertainment. Yeah. I can't collect all the poems together because
maybe one day.
One day, we'll because I wanted this to carry a specific message.
Okay.
Yeah.
I perfectly understand. So I'm sure that they will come and we'll do a bigger anthology of all your other works. But this one was for a specific message.
Yeah.
Why the Mask Halls? Where's the name coming from?
So there was a time I had discussions with my friends, and I also learned a little bit about the 1884 to 1885 Berlin Conference, where the European powers actually had the division of...
They divided Africa
into a piece of paper. So when I read all these things, I tried to, delve into a little bit history about the Congolese people and the struggle that the people of Congo are going through. I also went further to read about the South African the struggle of the South African, the blacks people, delving into Miriam Makeba, who was a woman, and their contributions. So I read a lot about this Africanism, and then I tried to they said we have moved from that era of how we were being maltreated by these white people. So I was like, okay, then let me see our present day. What's the issue? And then I got to know that, when I communicate to one or two people and I'm trying to talk about the black skin, I'm trying to talk about racism, people will tell me that, no, there's no issue of racism. You people, now we don't experience such. Then I try to watch present day movies. There are, even if you take maybe a film, not even the film talking about racism, but you yourself, you can figure it out. Maybe the role or the character that person have been played, there is an issue of what? Racism in it. Even schools, it is hidden. It is hidden. So I was like, okay, I'm trying to come out with a book which is going to talk about Africanism, but it's going to unmask something that has been maxed. Okay. And that is where I got the name, the Max Horse. And the horse represent institutions. That one is also in a different way. Institution trying to talk about our political arena today, trying to talk about corruption. So aside the Max, which is trying to unveil things, the horse also talks about institutions as well.
What does Africanism means to Apusiga the poet?
Me?
What is Africanism to you?
So to me, Africanism is all about Africa. The word Africa, Africa.
Tell me.
Is something that when people hear about it, some feel less of themselves, some also feel strong of themselves. But, it's something that whenever I hear about it, I feel so great. I feel the fact that I'm African, because if you look at our historical background, everything started from Africa. Everything started from Africa. There's still a research that I was still trying to find out the exact meaning of Africa and who named as Africa. Okay. But I've tried so many times. I want to be real to myself. I've tried so many times. I even asked my lecturer, who was my globalization lecturer back then at JIJ. I asked him, I said, say, you people are talking about the first era, the second era, the third to the fourth era of how globalization started, how Africans were the main place of what? Globalization. So what's the meaning of Africa? I tried so many times. I still can't find a definition to that word or who named that, but I'm still on the process. But to me, I think Africanism is all about the blacks people, and also trying to understand our cultural aspect, trying to stand on our feet and understanding what it really means. It's really not something bad. Yeah.
Anyway, so why I was looking at the book, it spoke about the fact that it was something that was putting together something to celebrate Africa's fearless leaders.
Yes.
Why did that excite you? What do you want to get from the past heroes? Okay, or what do you want us to get from the past heroes?
Okay, so if you look at our African freedom fighters, if you look at our day-in activities, if you look at the things that we do on social media, as Africans, do we really celebrate these people? If you look at the European people, those who were like, okay, they are the founders of this, they did that, they did this, there are still writers that are trying to, celebrate these people in our day-in or our studies, in our booklets, this person did that. But if you look at Africa, it's very silent, it's very quiet, because it's not easy for you to see a young person who has more idea about the freedom fighters. So I realized that, no, these are people that they did so great for Africa, talking about somebody like Cabral from Guinea-Bissau, talking about somebody like Gaddafi from Libya, Patrick Lumumba from Congo. You talk about Kwame Nkrumah, the overall freedom fighter, I think everyone knows, talking about Julius Nyerere from Tanzania. These are great leaders that, as Africans, if we still remember them and we try to celebrate them, I think we will learn something great, because they wrote something or they passed message to us that till date it is still working and we can't get out of it. We still need those ideas from them to work on. If you look at Kwame Nkrumah, who spoke about the Neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism, the book that he wrote. These are things that as Africans, if we keep on celebrating these, our bravest leaders, or try to remember these people, I think we can be at the right path. So I was like, no, these things, I want young people to have knowledge about these great people who have done so well for Africa. I want us to celebrate them. And my way of celebrating them is to put them into a poetry piece, say it out. Young people will be like, who is Julius Nyerere? Oh, who is Patrick Lumumba? Who is this? And they will get to know, and through that they can also be brave and strong to fight the current challenges that we have in Africa.
Is this not a losing battle, since we become so Americanized that we have even lost our Africanness? I mean, how difficult a job is this, and you believe we can actually win this war?
I believe everything is a process, and it's a process because the European people are always using the process, but we are trying to neglect that process. Day in, day out, or every day, they're trying to come out with new ideologies that will be able to favor them. But we as Africans, what are we bringing out? We are always sitting down, expecting them to bring the ideology for us to move in with it. What are we bringing on people? What are we bringing out? In Africa, if you talk about the first creation, if you talk about everything that we have it today, you talk about these silk materials, you talk about a lot of things, you realize that it is from Africa. It started from Egypt. It started from many African countries today. Even if you talk about creation, they even said these white people that we have them today, or we call them the white skin, or what it is. All these people were Africans. And if you look at the history behind globalization, or how come that we have white and black, all of us were black. But globalization aspect, or that idea is trying to say that is because of the movement to other countries, to other continents, and then the change of weather, the change
that's
of
what
food.
changed the skin.
That one can cause the change of the skin, and that is why today we have the black and then the white. So I believe that as Africans, we are very great. We are great people with great history, with great things that if we really focus on the things that we have and we are trying to build ourselves, we cannot be behind.
People of your age, do they appreciate things like this because they want to be on TikTok, they want the latest hairstyle, they want to have fun? Then Apusiga the poet comes and she's talking deep, heavy stuff. She's talking Nyerere, she's talking Lumumba, Nkrumah, and the rest. Do they appreciate what you're doing? Your mates, your colleagues, your age mates?
I think everything starts from the beginning. I had the opportunity to appreciate these things because it was once somebody who introduced these things to me. And I can't deny the fact that I got to know all these things from my very own daddy, Kwesi Pratt.
Okay.
Yes. So I had the opportunity to go close to him, and he started telling me this, that he gave me these books. I even have some book that I brought today, The Freedom Fighter, that talks about Kwame Nkrumah.
And Uncle Kwesi gave it to you.
Yes. So but the young people, the reason why they might not appreciate what I am saying today in this studio, it is because they have not gotten the opportunity to know what it is. If we Africans are able to put down all these things, to add it to our education system, for young people to grow up and read these things in their education and realize how important it is, there's no way that they wouldn't stand for themselves. If you look at the Berlin Conference in 1884 to 1885, it's only few. Now, I think it's not even in the system again. I don't even think students learn about this. And even the one in the book that talks about Berlin Conference wouldn't tell you that they divided Africa into a piece of paper. They wrote it, they framed it, and they wrote it, and they made it look like it's nice. It makes it look like it's a nice event that happened, but it's not a nice event. So it depends on how our educational system is. If Africans are really trying to let the young people understand what we went through, it is by putting it into paper, so that 2 years or 3 years girl who is growing up, who get to know the ideologies of how these things work. You think the person will get up and the person wouldn't appreciate what I'm saying today? So I think everything is, the beginning.
The beginning.
Yes, we Africa, we really don't share our stories. You go to school and you even literature. The literature we are reading today in senior high schools, you realize most of the books are not even from Africa. Like in Ghana here, let's talk about Ghana. The literature we are reading today, we have great writers who are also writing books, who wrote books about literature. But why is it that those books are not in our basic schools? Because how to even get that book there, whether you are good or not, it doesn't matter. It's about your pocket and who you are. So those books are not there. But we can go, when we were reading books about this woman who wrote about the phenomenal woman. I don't know, a poem. I forgot. She's a very popular poet. You know, we go and we're reading about great things about people from a different part of the world. Meanwhile, we are neglecting the great people we have. But if you go to those places, there are same people who know about us and they know how great we are. And they sometimes question themselves, why is it that these people cry? They have this person and do they even appreciate the person? That is
Apusiga, do you think it's deliberate? Do you think the West is deliberately trying to dampen the African mind so that we don't appreciate our greatness? Because a time comes when we know how great we are, we might.
That one, I will make it look moderate, because when you look at the world system theory talks about the division of the countries.
Okay.
And if you look at the world system theory, it's something that I can say the West, they have deliberately did it.
Okay.
To put Africa in a place. Because if you look at the world system theory, I think we have the first class, I don't know, I've forgotten the terms, but you know, we call the first class countries or what they
First world, second world, third world.
And third.
Yeah.
And if you look at the third, it's only African countries that are found there. You can't see African country in the middle world, because if you look at the first world, it's a place that they have the resource, they have industrialization, they have everything, which is making their movement or their life very flexible. You go into the middle, and the first is only the European big countries like Germany, like US, like Canada, Australia. These are the countries that you will see over there, or the nations. But when you come to the second world, that one you will try to see the only nation that is part or in Africa is only South Africa that has been able to struggle to be in the middle. But when you come to the third, that is where my own African people belong. All of us are there. Why? What's the problem? We have the resource, we have everything, but we are still there. We are still there because we don't have industrialization. We are not trying to be creative to whatever we are doing. So I can say that the Western world or the European people, they have always, it is not like they are trying to put us deliberately, you know, every day everybody tries to be creative. If somebody is a musician, I'm also a musician, or somebody is a poet, I'm also a poet, and you invite us to come and perform, I need to work in a way that I will be better. So I think they are working out to be better, and it is time for us to also realize those things that, we have to work hard to be, you know, to be good. It's not like they are deliberately doing, everybody is trying to be first. No, that is where
it's a race.
Yes, but even aside that, I think there are still things that are hindering the development of Africans today. There are still issues that are, you know, let's say we don't have industrialization. We are in the third world. We don't have anything. We have resource, but we don't have industrialization to make these things make us grow. Now we need industrialization, and we are telling them that, we don't have money. Please, can you give us more money so that we can also develop ourselves? And you are telling us that, okay, if I'm giving this IMF money to you, I'm instructing you to use it for this. How can I grow? How can I get that industrialization I'm doing? Because even the money you are giving me, you are instructing me to use it for a different thing. So I think there are a lot of things that we Africans, we need to figure it out. There are things that are hindering the development of Africans today. It's not their fault, but I still believe that if we stand out and we stand on our feet, we'll be able to do something great.
Her name is Apusiga the Poet, and you can hear, or if you're watching us live on social media, you're watching she's fiery and she loves Africa. She's put together an anthology. It's titled The Mask Halls, a collection of poems that goes way into the lives of Africa's fearless freedom fighters, sharing stories on the untold stories of our heroes, and also their unwavering dedication to justice. We'll go into some of the poems that are in there, so that she would do some for us. We would find a way of being, as it were, you know, gingered for this morning. Which is your favorite in this anthology?
You know, remember, don't forget, I told you that it talks about the max halls and the institutions.
Yes.
So I think my favorite poem is The Clock Season. The Clock Season.
The Clock Season, that is page 21. Let me go there.
So let's
okay.
See.
So let's go.
So.
In fact, I think I should start reading it.
Okay, you can start.
Welcome to Ghana's political scene, where noxious lies wear the perfume of heaven. Yes, The cycle repeats, and here we stand, miserable spectators at this appalling game. Why do we applaud? Who ends our disdain? Do we choose change that changes nothing, or maintain the shame that knows no shame, promises juiced up for the show, for show, but starved of substance? I will do this and that for Ghana, my motherland. A fine game of who drives us on the wildest ride, but if half their promises ever took root, Ghanaians will be free. What?
Yeah. So you can
Those are,
continue.
no. Let's not continue. Those are very punchy words.
Yes.
That is what you see as our political game.
Yeah.
Noxious lies were the perfume of heaven.
There's
Miserable spectators.
Yes.
Appalling game.
You will still love it if you move further.
No, I'm not moving further. Let me stay here. You said, who ends our disdain? Do we choose change that changes nothing, or maintain the shame that knows no shame?
I think I will read
Wait. Don't go far. I mean, what kind of thought process was going on in your head when you were putting this together?
No.
Was it that you had watched some political rally and you were angry, or you just sat there and looked at the things going on in this country? And because I feel a lot of emotion in this.
I'm a socialist.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm a socialist. And as socialist people, we always look out.
So you have a problem with democracy in the first place?
Yes, we have a
Okay.
problem of this democracy. We always look out for the people. We said we don't want the bourgeoisies, the powerful, the rich people. We don't want them to be the controller of our economic system. Let the people, let the citizens, or let the Ghanaians, manage their own economic system. And if you look at our economic system, there is always way that, if somebody comes out to campaign, I'm better than my opponent.
Yeah.
I did this, and they will be doing comparison. I don't know why the level of the level of incompetence to be the key measurement of development.
Okay.
I don't know, because they don't say, okay, I did this, I did that, but they'll rather use, I did this, my opponent did not do this, my opponent did this, me, I did greater. No, the level of incompetence to be the key measurement of development is very bad.
When did you write this poem?
This one, just after we're moving into the elections.
Because it sounds like something meant for this year's elections.
Yes.
Do we choose the change that changes nothing?
Yes.
Or maintain the shame that knows no shame?
Yes. So in the latter part, I also spoke about peaceful
Okay,
elections.
continue.
I even said promises made, promises broken every 4 years. Confident, some will still applaud their incompetence, justifying their failures with my opponent is worse. How low can it get? Incompetence now the measurement of progress. Well, we stand at the crossroad of our future, our destiny dangling in the air. Do we despair over this political disaster, or strive for a better tomorrow, even as they tempt us with bags of goodies and recycled promises? Let's look beyond the fallacies, interrogate their policies, for today's decision will shape our tomorrow. Remember, your vote is more than a stamp on paper. It is a stamp on your future, for better or worse. So, fellow Ghanaians, what will it be? Let's cast our vote in peace and adjourn in peace.
Wait, Abdullah Saka is your mate?
No, that's my. He
because
was my senior in.
He was your senior, rather.
Yes.
He's not put together something like this. Abdullah Saka always bullying us here. He can't put together something like this. But Apusiga, if you go in this tangent, you do state events and all that.
Yeah.
Would you, if the president were sitting there, you wouldn't mind rattling this your poem? You don't care?
Yes, but I'm still trying. I'm doing some little bit interview, trying to find out. In our culture, in everything you also do. Since I'm African, and I don't want to also neglect my culture, there is something how the African person will talk. if a Western world or European person is talking to their mother, it's different from how somebody from Africa would
Yeah,
talk to their
our
parents.
culture plays a
So
role.
sometimes there was a day I asked my mentors, I said, no, there are some poems that I always want to, display it in the midst of strong bourgeoisies or big people who think they are political controllers of this nation. But I don't want it to look like I'm too small and I'm disrespecting them in a way. So I said, okay, in performance, you need to know where you go. So I told my boss that since I'm a performance, like somebody who performs, I rather prefer to put this piece. This piece, I can record it. I can go to the studio, I can record everything, I can publish it there for whoever that knows that he or she is guilty can read it. But like on stage performance, where I have my audience, I have people who are my parents, my mothers, I sometimes feel like it would be a disrespect to put, such peace in their presence, and they wouldn't feel. And it is also a way of, I'm going in a wayward, because I'm saying that because in our culture, we don't do that. And because I want to also promote my culture, I need to know what I can say in front of the elderly person, and not what not to say. I don't want it to look like, no, I'm now growing. I want to say my eyes are open. No. So I'll be very careful if I have been invited in front of any president to talk. I'll be very mindful of my words. But in that same place, I can also share my message by recording it and putting it up there. Anyone who is guilty can read it. So I have had the opportunity to perform for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. This is I think 2 times now. The first time that was 2022. September 12th, I had the opportunity to perform for him. And I'm a poet. If he invites me, whether you are MPP, you are APC, you are NDC, I'm going to perform for you. So when he invited me, the people told me that, okay, our president is coming, so we want you to put down something for us. And I wrote something for him. I put down all the things that he has done for Ghana, and I came to display it. The second time too, I came to display it for the chief.
And they clapped for you.
They clapped for me, and then,
But the cloak season, nobody will clap for you.
No,
Yeah, because it punches both of them. Do we choose the change that changes nothing?
Yes.
Or maintain the shame that knows no shame? You are hitting both parties.
There's a statement I used to say that your votes are your voices, and your voices are your concerns, and your concerns in this case are your thieves. Know who your thief should be. But there are things that day I was like, should I say it? So I made it like this. Your votes are your voices, and your voices are your concerns.
And your concerns are your...
No, know who your consent should be with. I have to be creative enough. And I've also gone through the journalistic training. And in journalism, you are my boss, you know better than me. In journalism, you have to know how to you are talking to somebody, but you have to put it in a nice language.
Of course. I mean, yeah.
That is what I have been taught in the journalism field. And I'm also applying it in my poetry style, not to make anybody feel offended or see me as a disrespected young lady who is trying to grow.
Yeah, because you are also strongly Islamic, and your religion means a lot to you. We'll come to that. Let's go to Roots of Resistance.
Okay.
I mean, if I read Roots of Resistance and they tell me to picture the one who wrote this, I would expect somebody like one of the warriors from Wakanda or something, one of these, some TikTok macho person.
Yes.
Let me go in to prove my point.
Okay.
In the land of my fathers,
In the world.
Where stories unfold, a new kind of slavery. Young minds are told, forget your roots, your culture, your name. Embrace a foreign dream, not your aim. They come with promises of progress and gold, but leave us with debt and a future they've sold. They take our resources, our land, our pride, leaving us with nothing, just a hollow stride. My grandmother's wisdom, my grandfather's might, erased in silence, stolen in the night. Their struggles, their triumphs, stories untold, silenced as our heritage grows cold.
Yeah.
But I remember the fire in their eyes, the strength in their voices, hope in their sight. I remember the tales of our past, a future built to forever last. How old are you? I beg, don't answer that. But this sounds like someone who is lived in the days of colonialism and appreciate. Where do you get your inspiration to put together poems like this?
My father, Kwesi Pratt, told me that if you don't read your history, you can't fight the enemy. So if you don't know the history, you can't fight today's fight. So I have been taught that whatever is happening today in our present world is what has happened past or then. And if I don't read the history, I won't be able to, understand the happenings today. But if you know the history, you will know why today we are struggling because of this. We have this problem, we have that problem because of this and that. So I believe that if you read your history, or if you get to understand your history, you will be able to, to defend the enemy or fight the enemy. And today, I don't want to mention who the enemy is, but I know my audience will understand who the enemy is.
That's an interesting. You're so full of fire, and I wonder. Anyway, you've already said Uncle Kwesi is behind, so, but I refuse to forget, refuse to comply. Hold on to my roots, never say die. I rise with pride, voice loud and clear, reclaiming my identity year after year. I honor my ancestors, keep their memory alive, fight for freedom, strive and survive. Pass on the stories, wisdom and might to children, grandchildren shining bright.
Yes.
Hey, Apusiga the poet.
Yes.
You've not written a poem that scared you yourself, that if anyone heard this, they might come looking for me?
No. I've already prepared my luggages and my bag. They should come and carry me away.
Oh, wow.
I'm a human rights fighter. I stand for human rights everywhere. If you look at the issue of Israel and Palestine today, people say it's a political fight. People say it's a religious fight. Me, I don't have a problem with whatever fight it is. I just care about humanity.
Okay.
I care about the children. I care about the women that have been killed every day, the missiles and bombs that they are throwing on them. That is what I stand for. I stand for humanity. I don't stand whether it's religious fight, it's political fight. I don't want to know. I just care about what they should stop bumping the children, the women. Yes.
Interesting.
So that if I'm also writing, that is how I write.
Let's pick The Continent's Cry.
Yes.
Page 25.
Okay.
Now that you're talking about Uncle Kwesi, I'm getting a bit of him in this poem, especially. Right? I have a lot of, I see a lot of Kwesi Pratt in this. A continent once blemished by foreign hands. Berlin's conference. A wound that expands, pieces of a puzzle torn apart. A legacy of pain forever in the heart. Nkrumah's voice, a whisper in the wind. Resonance of a dream left behind. New colonialism's subtle might. A specter of oppression still in sight. Yet his words remain, a beacon bright. A call to rise against the dark of night. Africans reclaiming their story's thread. Wow.
Yeah.
What in your research did you, although you didn't meet Nkrumah, when you did all your research and read about him and all his books and all that, what kind of person did you think he was?
Nkrumah was a selfless leader.
Okay.
Yeah, a leader with so much confidence, brave leader, a leader who wanted to make the people happy, a leader who cares about people, not for himself. And aside that, I just did the physical view of how Kwame Nkrumah, present day family, and looking at Kwame Nkrumah, what has he left for his family. And if you look at Kwame Nkrumah today, you don't mostly hear about Kwame Nkrumah daughter is this, Kwame Nkrumah son, Kwame Nkrumah left this property, this big house, this beautiful house. Then I said, no, then it's true. This man gave his house out to Ghanaians as a public property. That's the thing that made me feel so much in love with Kwame Nkrumah, because this is a leader, and if you are a leader who don't care about your personal, your what you really want, but you care about the people, it's very nice. If we have leaders in Ghana like this who care about the people, and who care about the people, but not their own interest or the interest of their family or what they will get at the end of the day, I think we will grow in Ghana here. You go to parliament today, and when people are having discussions, they don't talk about the people who brought them into power. They are not talking about the village people who voted them into power. They are talking about the party. So it's today we have leaders who don't talk about us. It's not about us. We brought them into power, but it's not about us. It's about the party. When they are fighting in parliament or everything, they are fighting about the integrity of the party, but not the integrity of the people who brought you into power. So our people don't care about us. It's about the party, how to build the party. If they are talking, if something is even about us, they bring it into the party. Kwame Nkrumah wasn't such leader. He was a leader who was for us, a leader who wanted us to go far. It was a leader who don't care about even only Ghana. That is why Kwame Nkrumah is a world leader. That is how I call him. He's a world leader. He's a leader that in Africa, everybody recognizes him. Even when they overthrow Kwame Nkrumah, Guinea-Bissau took Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting wrong.
Guinea.
They took Kwame Nkrumah in. So Kwame Nkrumah is a leader that I think till today, we, especially Ghanaians, we should be proud. And I'm sure Kwame Nkrumah wouldn't be happy in his grave to see we Ghanaians, the stage that we are in, because we've been the first African country to gain independence. We've been the country that has been recognized in the European world. And today, we are very quiet and silent. We have so much darkness everywhere that we can't come out of our own feathers. I think we should be ashamed of ourselves as Ghanaians. So
when he got to Guinea, when he got to Conakry at the airport, when Sekou Touré received him, he announced there and then that Kwame Nkrumah was a co-president of the country. That was how powerful he was. Another president saying, I give you co-presidency. That is unusual, but that tells you how powerful the man is. Talking of today's leaders, this one, I won't read it, so you get yourself into your own trouble. Page 12, the maze of corruption.
Why won't you read it?
That one, you read it so that they won't think I wrote it, please.
Why won't you read it?
Start for me, page 12. Yes,
you have to read, though.
No, I beg you, you read
have
it.
To read.
Page 12.
Ghanaians, we are one people. One people, that's why we always hear one people, we care about you.
Yes, page 12.
In halls of power, they waved their might with secrets and lies. They shone their side, greed and lust, a toxic stain, corrupting all for selfish gain. Their words are nectar, laced with deceit, manipulating all with audacious feet. They crush the weak with iron hands, leaving the innocent in desolate hands. Their legacy, a road of suffering, a nation's trust forever in vain. Corruption, a cancer so ground, building hope in their troubled land. They hide behind masks of virtue and might, but their true faces are shrouded in night. Their actions betray the public trust, leaving the people in disgust. But still, we rise with voices clear, demanding justice year after year. I think I'll
corruption, a poison so dark, seeps into souls like a toxic spark. But we will be the light that shines so bold, unmasking their wrongs as they unfold. Hey, Apusiga the poet.
Let me say it too.
Someone must say it, so you will say it.
Let me say it.
I am just blown away, right? I'm just blown away because the strength of your punches, your lyrical punches, is scary. It's scary, and to think this is just the beginning of your career as a poet. Is this something you're going to do full time? I mean, going forward, poetry.
Yeah. Poetry is just an entertaining something, and at the same time using to educate people. I'm just looking forward getting the opportunity to travel around and tell the people, my people, those I said I want to read about them, so that I can fight them, no? So I can let them hear all these things. You know, people come to my DM and tell me that, Hamida, you are not going to get visa. Nobody's going to give you visa. You're not going anywhere. Because they see me organizing demonstration, free Palestine, free Palestine everywhere. So they told me they're not going to give me a visa. And I said, okay, I'm doing it in a good cause. I'm doing it for humanity. I said, no problem. They should give me visa to Guinea. Give me visa to Uganda. Me, I'm going there. That's my favorite country. So how can I visit my place? Because I have everything that I want to enjoy in Africa here. So why, if you don't give
You're not bothered?
Yeah, I'm not bothered if I'm not going anywhere, because I can go to Guinea, I can go to Uganda, I can go to South Africa, I can go to any place.
What about family? Your family is not bothered that you are getting yourself into trouble?
This is not trouble. I just want to be the small Kwame Nkrumah, by God's grace.
Yeah, but he got into trouble, so I mean, it is trouble.
Okay, I'm not going to get into trouble because they are telling us that we are practicing democracy. They said human rights, international human rights. Yes, they are talking about international human rights. If you are talking about international human rights law or international human rights that is going to govern all human rights issues in the world, and they are bumping people and the international human rights.
No one is going to arrest you, but
it's quiet. So I mean, okay, they are talking about democracy. I'm following the democracy sisters.
Yeah, but they won't arrest you, but just that they will frustrate you.
They will not frustrate me. They cannot frustrate me. The only person who can frustrate me is God.
Ah.
Yes.
Interesting. She's Apusiga the poet, and today is a bit heavy, and thankfully today is the last edition. She's closing up Arts, Culture and Tourism Thursday, because from next week, the show becomes Business Breakfast on Z, and so we're having a great time here. She has an anthology called The Mask Halls, where she's going deep into poems that talks about the lives of our fearless leaders. She's calling on some of the poems. If I see some of the lines, I'm like, hey, God help this woman, because the punches she's throwing, there are some big men who have egos, and if they are sitting in a state program and this young lady comes up and she punches about corruption, toxic and appalling, and uses those words, they might either walk out of the program or they will invite you again. I mean, My Skin, My Story.
Yeah, I think you like you like most freedom. Freedom.
It's your book. I didn't give you this. You brought this book. I'm reading your book. Yes, I'm being selective, but I love these themes.
I think there's one point that you will like it, and we will do that as a closing point.
Okay.
So
My Skin, My Story.
So
My skin is my fabric, a shade of brown so dear, a stunning reflection of humanity's richness, diverse and clear. It glows with a velvety softness like the gentle sheen of dark chocolate, luxurious as silk, smooth and rich, a story of my ancestors. You have a problem with bleaching?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I mean, I read this and I look at you like, you have a big problem with...
My story. The African skin is very beautiful. I don't know why we are not proud of it. And until you are proud of your own something or your own thing, nobody will be proud of it. We are very beautiful.
You don't like skin lightening creams?
No. You are black. What shows that you can maintain your black skin very beautiful. So why would you delve into bleaching and then years later you'll be looking black and white, red and yellow?
Here we go.
Yes,
she has a problem
your
with
skin.
bleaching.
And then even if you look at my skin, my fabric, or My Skin, My Story, it talks about racism. It talks about racism. Oh, this person is an African. This is the place that you are supposed to sit down. You go to airport today, and you realize that this airport, Ghana airport, belongs to us, we Ghanaians. But if you go there and you are white, the way they treat you is different from if you are black. If you are black and they treat you good, Charlie, you have money. If you don't have money, I don't know if they think our skin is a cloth that has covered our brain. I don't know if they think our skin is something that we are not bathing, we are dirty. I can't even tell I can't even tell. So I don't know. I'm trying to tell young people out there that we have a beautiful skin and we have to cherish it. We have to, be proud of our own skin. There's no wrong. You're black, you're beautiful. So
anyway, it's getting to the time when I will be signing out. And let me remind you once again that the legend is back and he's taking over after 10 a.m. on the brighter side. You would want to touch that dial. Amazing stuff coming up. The legend, yes, our legend is here. But before that, her name is Apusiga the poet. That's how she wants to be called. Her mom and her dad named her Hamida, but she wants to be called Apusiga the poet because that's also in her name. Will take us away with the poem you said you want us to close with.
Okay. So that poem, I'll just say it. So
please, flow.
So, when I am dead, your tears will flow, but I won't know. Cry with me now instead. You will say a word of praise about me, but I won't be there for you. Praise me now instead. You will forget my fault, but I won't know. Forget them now instead. You will wish you could have spent more time with me, but I won't be there for you. Spend time with me now instead. Spend time with every person around you, your friends, families, acquaintances, and help them with whatever you have to make them feel happy. Make the people around you to feel special because you never know when time will take them away from you forever. No matter how many times the teeth bite the tongue, they still stay together in one mouth. That is the spirit of forgiveness. Even though the eyes does not see each other, but they see things together, blink simultaneously, and cry together. That is unity. May we all practice the spirit of forgiveness and togetherness. Alone, I can say, but together, we can talk. Alone, I can smile, but together, we can laugh. Alone, I can enjoy, but together, we can celebrate. That is the beauty of human relations. We are nothing. Indeed, we are nothing without each other. Let's stay connected.
Her name is Apusiga the Poet. She just rounded up a wonderful Thursday morning edition of your favorite experience on morning radio, Z in the morning. From tomorrow and Monday, it's going to be business breakfast on Z. Apusiga, what is next for you?
I'm currently embarking on a peaceful election campaign. And I'm urging everyone who is listening to me today that, please, we Ghanaians, I know we want justice based on one or two things that is, happening today. But please, as we move into these elections, let's try to preach peace. Let's try to talk to our families, our brothers, our sisters about peace. Let's be an agent of peace wherever we go, so that we will have a peaceful election before and after the election, so we can work together as one family.
Thank you so much for coming here. You've made this Thursday one of the best we've had so far. Thank you, Apusiga the Poet. All too soon, time is up for me to leave the studios in there. But you're covered, because coming up next is the legend himself. All too soon, what do I say? As always, pray like it only depends on God, but go work like it only depends on you. We'll do this again tomorrow with a TGI Triple F edition of Z in the Morning.